Hi everyone, I'm Gina Philibert Ortega for Genealogy Bank. How do you search for your ancestor on Genealogy Bank? Most likely you're searching by a name, but there's more than one way to search on Genealogy Bank. And the way to add to your ancestor story, add that social history that helps us understand their lives, is by searching on other words besides their name. By thinking about their occupation or an event they were a part of or their religion or something about them, doing a search on that keyword can help us build the story of our ancestors' lives. Now, I want to show you one way that you can do this. So let's go over to the Genealogy Bank website and take a look. So now we're on the Genealogy Bank website, and what I want to do is something different and something that I do and you do too when you're looking at the Genealogy Bank website. And that's typically to search by a person's name to find content, articles, and other records that have to do with that individual person. But instead, I want to do something that helps me learn more about some women's lives that I'm researching. So I'm researching some women who appear on a quilt top that I own that worked at Fendrick Cigar in Evansville, Indiana. So I've already searched on their individual names, but this time I want to learn more about what's it like to be a woman working at a cigar company. So let's go ahead and search for Fendrick, which is the name of the cigar company. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and type in Fendrick in the first name search box and search. Now, that searched everything, right? We didn't focus our search just to kind of see what's out there. And there's 57,000 results. So that's too much. Now, Fendrick is someone's surname. In fact, it was the founder's surname. So some of these results might be about the cigar factory, but some of them might be about people whose last name is Fendrick. So we could add a keyword. And so in this case, I'm just going to put in cigar. Okay, so that really took us down to 12,000. Okay, that's great. Now, we know that we want to look at Indiana. So let's go ahead and let's select Indiana. So all these tools to narrow and focus my search are right here on the left-hand side. So let's update that. All right, now that took us down to 9,000 again. So I told you I want Evansville, so there's Evansville. Now, let's say that I was searching for someone that their city isn't shown here. There aren't newspapers specific to their city. That's okay, because there might be articles about that occupation or other articles that still might help even if it's not in a particular city. So let's go ahead and update that. So now we're down to Fendrick, we've got cigar, and we've got Evansville, Indiana. So how can we get it down even more? Well, another way we can do it, since there are newspapers for Evansville, is we could go ahead and narrow it down to a specific title. And in this case, we're kind of lucky because there's 4 different Evansville papers. So why don't we just go ahead and let's narrow it down to the one where there's 69 results. So that's, instead of thousands of results, we have something that's a little bit more manageable. Okay, now what's the problem with selecting a specific newspaper? Well, as you can see, it's looking like a lot of these hits are from the 19th century. And actually, my quilt is from the 20th. Let's go ahead and sort by the newest publication date and see what we get. Okay, so still the 19th century. So that's not going to help us very much. So let's go ahead and go back. Now, I can choose a time period, so that is something I can do. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and choose this newspaper. And then I'm going to choose oldest or relevance first. I could choose oldest, but let's do relevance. Okay, so we're starting to narrow our search down to something that kind of works for us. Now, I think I am going to do a date range, and I'm going to do 1920 to, let's do right after World War II, so 1950. Let's do a 30-year period. Okay, so that gets us down to 1,000. Now, as I go through these results, I'm going to have to kind of look through one by one and see what's there that might be helpful to me. So, for example, here's an article from 1944. And here is an award given to one of their female employees. So I might want to go look at my quilt to see if she's one of the women listed on my quilt. So what we're going to find by doing this is we're going to find articles about individual workers, we're going to find articles about group of workers, and we're going to find advertisements, like help wanted advertisements. So let's go back to our results. And we're even going to just see advertisements, right? For the product that they're making and they're selling. This might give me an idea about how popular it was and what was going on there, you know, giving me that kind of context to the cigars. And actually this ad includes a photo of what the factory looked like, so that could be very helpful. Now, because I'm specifically looking at women, I may want to take a look at help wanted advertisements. And so I'm going to just show you one. Now, in a certain time period, many help wanted advertisements were segregated according to men and women. And so if I look up here, you can see it says help wanted female. And then here's my advertisements. Now here is another cigar company, so they had some competition. And here you can see, let me make that bigger for you. Cigar makers, experienced rollers, so those are the people rolling the cigars, and bunch breakers on straight and shape work, steady work, good pay, also beginning to learn cigar making, pay while learning. Frederick Factory, a mighty good place to work. So imagine if one of those women saw that advertisement, that might entice them to work there, right? And you can see there's another one there. And so I can continue on and learn more about what was going on for these women. What was it like to work at Fendrick? What kind of advertising were they doing? What kind of marketing were they doing? Were there any accidents that happened while they were there? So I can learn a little bit more about the company, about the other women they worked for, and this can help me build the story of the women that I'm researching. I hope that helped you think differently about how you search Genealogy Bank. In order to be a Genealogy Bank expert, it's important that you don't just search on a name, date, and place, but that you think about your ancestors' whole life and what was involved in their life. That's going to help you add context to your ancestor's story and help it become more engaging for those in your family who aren't as interested in genealogy. Now, take some time today, pull out your timeline or your research notes, and think about that ancestor. What occupation did they have? What church did they go to? What historical event did they experience? And start writing those keywords down. And then spend some time on the Genealogy Bank website, not just searching on their name, but also searching on these other keywords. Finding newspapers is much more than finding a mention of an ancestor. It's about finding articles that have to do with their lives. I hope that gave you some great ideas. Good luck with telling your ancestor story. Enjoy your discoveries.